we got some a lot of topics have been going on lately. So let's start with some Hollywood drama that has been going on lately. And Rox shared with us something here that has been going on. Let me pull up these articles. Nope, not that one. This one. Let me get you guys there so you guys can see each other. All right, so Rox, you want to?
So
Go
basically,
ahead and leave this one.
the headline basically says that Disney and Universal launch an AI legal battle. They're suing Midjourney over copyright claims. So these studios, I think it's kind of hypocritical because we've been hearing about how they have been using AI in quite a bit of their films. So they don't seem to have a problem with using AI when it's a financial benefit to them, but when it comes to the everyday average person using AI, it seems to be an issue. Basically, yeah, they don't want people making content that with their characters like Shrek, like Darth Vader, all that kind of stuff, and they are launching this legal battle. Scroll down a bit so I can go through the article, Phil. All right there. In the next chapter of Big Entertainment versus Big Tech, Disney and Universal have filed a lawsuit against artificial intelligence company Midjourney over tools that allow users to create images and videos that can manipulate famous characters at the click of a prompt. Here's my issue with that, is that that's like saying we're going to sue somebody for drawing a fan art picture. You know what I mean? Because that's technically what the AI is doing when you really break it down. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court in Los Angeles on Wednesday by Disney Enterprises, Marvel, Lucasfilm's 20th Century Universal Studios production, and DreamWorks Animation describes the
David
AI
Holtzman,
firm,
the
the AI firm Midjourney as a bottomless pit of plagiarism. You guys got any comments on that? What do you guys think?
Yeah, this, like, even when the whole writer strike stuff was going out, if you remember, they weren't upset at the existence of AI. They didn't want it to affect their jobs.
Their bottom line.
They used it, and we got a lot of pushback because people are like, you should be siding with the creatives. And I was like, if you listen to what they're saying, they're not saying we want to be creative. They're saying we want to be paid to use AI prompts and whatnot. Like, dude, if you wanted to say we don't want AI in our industry at all, that's one thing.
But
we know that they're know they're using the AI. Again, I don't know. It comes across a lot like they don't like that the barrier to entry is being broken
lowered
down.
Yes
And
that anybody can do anything online these days.
And if you were confident that you're making top flight stories, why would you care? Because real fans don't want knockoff Star Wars. We don't want knockoff stuff, but it's because of the state of Disney. And again, this whole thing, whenever you talk about AI, they love to conjure the image of like me and my art, and I'm drawing stuff, and I'm this struggling artist, and Midjourney's robbing me. Bro, Disney did not make Star Wars. They bought these things. They acquired these things. It is a giant corporation that I guarantee you in the next couple of years, they'll just be doing it themselves. And that's what this is about. They just want...
They suck the fun out of everything, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, they've already, but I mean, Marvel has used AI. We saw it in that one TV show where they had the AI scrolls. I believe
Secret Invasion.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the name of it. Yeah.
We know AI was used in The Flash because it's so obvious. I mean, even Nicolas Cage commented on it, saying that what he filmed was not what was actually in the movie. So it's very clear that they used AI. It's very clear that these companies are utilizing the technology. They just have a problem with you and me utilizing that technology.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, because I don't see how I think AI has gotten too big already. I don't think you can go backwards with AI. I think there only is a forward. And, Pandora's box has already been opened. You can't close it now. So it's going to be very interesting.
Well, of course, man. The AI is surpassing Moore's law, bro. And he was the guy that basically coined how computers develop exponentially, and how they double every 6 months or every year or whatever the case may be. Well, we are past that point right now. So yeah, there is no going back. There is no That's and once they've perfected the AI software to talk to the AI machines, the actual hardware, and once they get those two melded together the way they should, it's off to the races
Skynet.
from there, buddy.
Skynet, exactly. It's Skynet.
It's off to the races from there,
Yep.
buddy. So
I agree.
yeah.
Mhm.
But no, it's definitely a story I want to keep tabs on and see what happens in the future, because it's going to define a lot of how production is done going forward.
Well, it's already happening. It's already happening. Everything's being halted. And this is another topic that came in that we already knew this happened because we saw Matt. Well, we didn't see Madam Web. That's the problem. It was spoiled, but we know why it failed, because Dakota just said, "Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything about this movie." What do you mean? Like, no, it's nothing. You don't have to worry about it. She already knew this movie had nothing to do with the MCU, but Sony lied to her and everyone in the cast. So, oh yeah, we're gonna join the MCU. Blah blah blah. No, never happened. Hence why this is happening, because Dakota says Hollywood is a mess because studios want to remake the same shit.
Yep.
What did we just saw right now? What did we just saw now with Mel Brooks?
But we've been saying it. We've actually been highlighting that on the last few episodes, that it's all remakes. That's all they want. They don't want to do original IP. And I mean, they don't want to take the millions of dollars that people are willing to give them for a movie like Sinners. And
they don't take risks. They don't take risks anymore. Yep. Hollywood, look, let me tell you something. There was a time when Hollywood back then would hire directors, right? This is what I'm going to give you. Cool. This is the chance I'm going to take on you. And if that did not succeed, from there, the options were open for discussion as to how they're going to move forward. But they took the chance, is the point. No meddling, no nothing. You had to grind to get your script written. And it is not like it is today. You can just pick anybody up off the street and tell them to write a script using AI as assistants, and there you go. Back then,
I was just going to say that. Wait till you have to AI script.
Back then, you have to work. You had to work for your meal. You had to write a script. You had to find an agent. Okay, they had to read that script. They had to say whether or not they were going to take you on. Then they had to peddle your script through Hollywood, and you get rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection until you finally hit the one you wanted, and then a studio finally took a chance, and then that movie was successful.
Or you had to prove yourself. A studio would take you on to do one of their projects, and if that project was successful, then they would greenlight what you wanted to do.
Exactly. They used to do that. That was honorable work. You wrote it yourself, you did it yourself, it was your brainchild, and you hope for the best, and sometimes you were successful. They don't do that now. They don't do that now because everything is easy to do. Everything is just way too easy to do. So there's no passion behind it. There's no real thought behind it, and that's why we end up with the slop that we get.
Agreed.
They're counting on the idiocy of the audience. That's what they're doing. They're basically saying the audience is stupid. Let's not give them something smart or intelligent or thought-provoking or something to think about or a piece of art. No, let's not give them that. Let's just give them something 90 to 120 minutes of stupidity. They'll forget about it in 5 minutes. And that's it. And hopefully it'll make $1 billion because it had a cartoony, familiar face, whatever the hell is there. Yeah. So.
Agreed.
Sorry, I heard something. I thought it looks like it was a fireworks outside, but I kind of heard like somebody came through my door. I'm like, what? It's that loud. Sorry. Sorry. I lost that last part of it. That's okay.
You good, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, no, like Sinners, like that was a perfect example, and the narrative came in like, no, this movie's a failure. It's not going to make its money. Oh, they didn't want to give him the deal because he's black. Blah 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 blah. Like they are afraid of originality. They just want to rehash over and over and over and over and over again, and they'll get flop after flop after flop after flop. They won't learn because corporate America has corporatized films.
And I think that's the Warner Brothers problem is now the like I highlighted earlier, the great directors are somewhere else. Warner Brothers has their corporate stooge directors now, and that's all they have left. That's all that they can work with. So
yeah, I mean the fact that Muschietti's still there, like after what happened with the Flash, then him saying I can't do anything with the Flash because he's just not a 4-quadrant character,
And that people just
and
don't
then you're
like
like,
him.
bro, like,
But Andy, here's the thing. Also, I get,
what the hell is a 4-quadrant character?
Oh,
Where did you get that term from? Some sort of like workshop or something?
it's like
explain to me how a TV show can get the Flash, but you guys can't find a way to properly adapt it to a film.
Exactly.
No, I agree.
it's
I'm sure it's the
rhetorical.
fans somewhere.
Men's, we doing all the talking. Katie, do you have an opinion on all this?
Well, no, I just think it's ridiculous. Like that's the thing. They have continuous excuses for why things fail, and it's generally put back on us. So it's our fault that the movie didn't do well because we weren't willing to support whether it's female actors or female characters, or if it's people just don't like the Flash, or it's a plethora of thing of it's whether it's racist or we're bigots or we're just no longer.
It's always someone else's fault except not them.
Except
Yeah.
them.
And so it's never just the fact that they weren't creative enough to make a better story, or they weren't willing to put in the time and effort to make sure that the character was actually correct. Or
not to cut you off, but we talk about this all the time. I think it's crazy that there's an entire group of people that build their personality around defending the studio.
Yeah.
And not realizing that all those talking points are how a studio explains its failure to their board and to their investors. And so that you're just carrying water.
You guys are hearing that right here. Andy's saying it loud and clear, guys. For all you guys that later say, "Oh, these shills here," this is why.
Yeah.
This is why.
I'm sorry, you're
Oh, any last thoughts on this topic, guys?
no, it's just it's not going to change unless they start giving people who are actually talented and creative and an opportunity to showcase that on the big screen.
Because you're right, it is corporate slop. And the thing is, people go to films for an experience. Whether you like it or not, you can discuss and have a passionate conversation about an experience. Sinners is a great example. I know people who hated that film, but we were talking about that film and people went to see it to see what all the fuss was about. Yes. You know, when things start feeling really, really comfortable and start feeling like reruns because you're just rehashing, where do people watch that? In their bed as they fall asleep on streaming. People don't go to the theaters to see stuff they've already seen 1,000 times before. They go for experiences.
Yes. I think what it also comes down to is people want organic, real stories told to them. When the stories come off as fake and phony and slop, it's very recognizable, and the audience isn't stupid. We recognize when it's phony. We recognize when it's slop, and that's why a company like Warner Brothers is in the situation that they are in right now. Nothing has felt real and organic lately in the superhero genre. Absolutely nothing.